Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be getting into my everyday makeup drawer for January. I started this channel in December, so if you didn't see that first video, I will link it for you guys in the description box as well as in the cards. But essentially in that intro video, I took you on a little tour through my everyday vanity where I sit and get ready, showed you basically all of the products that are there, my everyday staples, as well as a few other things in my collection, and we picked out some products that I was going to be using all December month long. So today I'm going to be updating you on those products, letting you know what I used, what I thought of those things, and then I'm going to be showing you what I'm switching out and the new products I'm going to be introducing for January. If you are new here to my channel, welcome. My name is Lauren. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you will consider subscribing, coming back, hanging out again. I actually have a huge declutter series going up next week. I'm going to be posting 5 videos over the course of 5 days, going through my entire makeup collection and doing a really great declutter to start off the new year. So if you want to watch that, make sure you're subscribed and that you come back for more. And with all that being said, we've got a lot to cover today, so let's get into my everyday makeup drawer for January. So I thought it might be nice for this portion of the video for me to actually be able to sit and chat with you guys. So I'm going to be telling you about the products that I'm rotating out of my everyday makeup collection, giving you some thoughts. Most of these products I did use in December, so I'm going to switch them out for something else, and then I'll take you with me to the vanity to show you what's new. So why don't we start out with face products? There was only one foundation I decided to take off of my everyday vanity. That's the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I was trying to pan this guy in December. I talked about it in my for 2018 Project Pan Challenge that I miserably failed at. You guys can watch that video here. But I've kind of been feeling a little bit less into wearing this lately. I do think it's a good foundation. It's very, very full coverage, but I've just been generally preferring lighter, thinner foundations lately, so I don't know, I just haven't been gravitating towards this. I do have a new foundation that I'm going to be trying out, so I'll be showing that to you guys in a moment, and I just wanted to make some room for it. So these guys, I'm not getting rid of them right now, but I'm putting them back into my makeup storage. Then I had a whole bunch of blushes that I picked out to use in December, and since I have so many blushes in my collection, regardless of how much I enjoy these, I'm going to continue to try to rotate them out every month and try new ones, just in the hopes that I'll get more use out of my collection. The 2 powder blushes I had chosen were the Balm Down Boy and then the Lorac Color Source blush in Aura, and I really enjoyed both of these. I really appreciated having them on my vanity because I don't think I had ever used either of these quite as consistently before, and using them on an almost daily basis reminded me how much I liked them. These Lorac Color Source blushes especially, I feel like, are super beautiful and very underrated. They're matte, but they're not flat and chalky looking on the skin. They leave like a nice slight sheen that's very healthy. They're buildable, they're blendable, they're not so pigmented that they make you look like a clown. They're just really easy to work with. And this shade Aura in particular is such a gorgeous kind of plummy tone shade that I think is really flattering with a lot of like fall and winter color palettes. So this, absolutely love. I'm kind of sad to not be using it, but we're moving on to some exciting things in January, so it's all right. And then Down Boy was new to my collection, so this was like the first time I was really giving this a proper go. This is a much brighter pink blush. It's kind of got a cool undertone to it, but it doesn't look like too harsh on the face. It doesn't look too Barbie-esque, if you know what I mean. This just gives a nice, very pink flush to the cheeks. If you just kind of like pop it right on the apples, it really livens up your face. Again, this is very smooth, very easy to work with, has just the right amount of pigmentation. I really haven't met a product from the Balm, like as far as their powder products go, I haven't met like a blush or a bronzer or a highlight that I haven't liked. So this is something I'm definitely glad to have in my collection and glad I got to spend a little bit more time with it. Then I picked out a cream blush to use, and honestly, I only really used this once in the month. It was nice, but it was very, very pigmented. This is the kind of product you have to be a little bit careful with. And also, I didn't find that it would layer really well over matte foundations, even if I wasn't setting them with powder. This is the kind of product that really melts in nicely to a BB cream. So I wore this with the Purlisse BB cream that I've been using in the last month. And it does give like a very nice, very berry toned flush to the cheeks. The color inside is very similar to the color here in the tube. It was just like a little intense. So I'm glad I pulled this out to make myself use it because I really hadn't given it much of a go before, and It's nice, but again, not something I felt compelled to reach for on a regular basis. I had this duo in my vanity from Wander Beauty. This has a blush and a highlight in it. I actually really like this duo. It's very, very easy for a no makeup day because it's a very natural looking product. This is the Bare and Nude Glow duo. So this is the color of the blush. As you can see, it's like a really nice kind of neutral pink tone. It's creamy, it's very blendable. You can like really easily work this into the skin with your fingers and it leaves a really nice flush. And then the highlight side, which is Nude Glow, and I'm pretty sure all of the duos contain the same highlight shade if you get this product from Wander Beauty. It's a slightly pink toned highlight and it's very subtle. It doesn't have a metallic reflect to it. It's kind of more pearlescent and it really just blends into the skin and gives you just like a nice subtle sheen. So if you're someone that doesn't like having a really intense blinding highlight, this is a nice 2-in-1 product to have on hand. Again, I think this works really best with like a BB cream or sort of like a tinted moisturizer, a lighter coverage product because it is more natural, and that's really Wander Beauty's whole vibe. So this was something I did reach for quite a bit on my no makeup days, and I'm trading it out because I'm going to be trying out some other cream products instead. I had also put this Beauty Crop Lighting Crew highlighting cream in my makeup drawer, and this is really pretty. I used this a couple of times, kind of in conjunction with like that cream blush I showed you, or on days where I was wearing more sort of subtle no makeup. This is a really beautiful sort of sheeny product. Again, it's a very liquidy cream. It's not thick at all or moussey, and it does leave a little bit more of a shimmery sheen on the skin, but it's not glittery. And the tone of it is slightly pink, slightly silvery. It's not really gold toned at all. I think this would actually look really flattering on fairer complexions. But yeah, it's a nice product. It's got some good ingredients in it. It's a little bit tacky. I don't love the texture of it when it dries down, but you're only putting it on targeted areas of your face, so I didn't really find it to be a super big deal. This was something that I liked sort of tapping on with my fingers and then going over it with a beauty sponge to really blend it in, and I thought it added just a nice sort of light reflective appearance to the face. So this is, again, something I'm glad I got a chance to use, but it's going back in the drawer so I can use some other stuff. Then the only powder highlight that I had picked out in my drawer to use in December was this guy from Becca. This is the Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in the shade Prosecco Pop, which is a really, really beautiful gold highlight. This is just so creamy and blinding and stunning. Like, Becca highlights are known for being some of the best out there on the market, and this just gives you a really gorgeous shiny glow to the high points of your face. I really enjoyed using this product again because it had been a while since I'd reached for this, and I just enjoyed getting to use it again. The only thing I will say is that this pan is massive and I feel like I've barely made a dent in it, and I used this on a very regular basis over the last month because it was the only powder highlight I had picked out. I was reaching for it several times a week, and it barely looks like I've used it. And that month was not the first time I'd used this. I mean, I had used it a number of times before that. It's been in my collection for a while. So I feel like these highlighters are the kind of thing you can have for a lifetime. I will say it again, as I've said before, I honestly would just get the minis because I feel like you'll spend less money and you'll never be able to finish the whole thing anyway, so it's almost like a little wasteful to drop almost $40 on one of these. And then we have eye and brow products. Now, I picked out a bunch of singles to use back in December, and I really loved that I did that because I had so much fun creating unique looks using those products. I'm pretty sure I switched out all of them. There may be one or two things that I kept for January that I didn't have a chance to use, but I'll show you the ones that I did end up reaching for. First was this Catrice eyeshadow. This is the liquid metal eyeshadow in the shade We Are the Champagnes. This is so freaking stunning. I'm like obsessed with it. And I don't know if they make this product anymore. I couldn't find any information on it at Ulta. I don't know, maybe if it's available still with Catrice in Europe, because I know they are a European brand that's now just being sold in the United States. But man, I really hope they didn't get rid of this formula because it is so stunning. It's like ultra pigmented, buttery, shiny. This is like a beautiful color to put in the inner corner or all over the lid if you're creating a really beautiful, like kind of more glamorous look. And for, you know, only a couple dollars, it's, I think, such a steal, such a high quality formula. So I was really happy to have this on hand to reach for it in the last month. Then I got reminded of the amazingness of this Moon Dust eyeshadow from Urban Decay. This is the shade Solstice, which is such a cool duochrome. I remember when I bought this, which was a long time ago, and I was just so entranced by the color and by the shift, and I really hadn't reached for it in a very long time. So I was excited to have this on hand. I created a look with it, and I thought it came out super pretty. Honestly, I don't really feel like this swatches dry as well as it applies wet or over a glitter primer, because this is a moon dust. It's kind of more sparkly, shimmery. It's not quite as creamy in formula. It's also got like a little bit of hard pan going on because I've had this for a while and used it a bunch. But yeah, when you build it up properly over the right base, it's super stunning on the lid. So this, I'm glad I got a chance to use this again. Then there were a couple of cream products. I tried out this pure liquid glitter for the first time. I got this in Gen Beauty and it had been sitting in my collection for months untouched. And I finally decided, because it was in my everyday makeup drawer, to give it a go. And I was so impressed with this. It is absolutely like stunning. So this is a very pigmented, shiny cream shadow, and when you blend this out with a brush when it's like still a little bit wet, it just leaves the most insanely gorgeous sparkle on your eyes. I shared this look over on my Instagram, and I wore it on a day that I was filming as well. So maybe I will put some links somewhere for you guys so you can see the look that I created with this in the description box. But as you can see, like when it's wet and it's not blended, it looks just like a metallic cream shadow. But when you blend this out, it just leaves the most ridiculously gorgeous, shimmery shine on your eyes. I was just super impressed with how beautiful it was, and I kind of felt a little stupid, like, man, I've had this hidden treasure sitting here for months being unloved, and now I'm really pumped about it. I would love to try more of these, actually. I do really like this like reddish shade. I think it's really fun, but I would love to play with some other ones. So this is something now that's on my radar. And then finally for eye singles, I have one of these Prismetal Chrome eye mousses. This one was in the shade Chrome Galaxy, which is a really beautiful kind of champagne-y tone. This is, again, super stunning for just applying all over the lid. Oh, it adds just like the most gorgeous, reflective, sparkly goodness to your eyes. I am kind of obsessed a little bit with these. They're only $6. I think they're fantastic, and I'm actually wearing one on my eyes right now that is in the drawer for January because it's a new shade that I wanted to play with. You guys are actually going to see in a video that is going up on Saturday. I picked up some other JCat products that I also have been playing with, and I'm going to be showing you how to use them to create an eye look. But man, I think they're doing some crazy amazing things at such a good price point, and I'm very excited to have these on hand. I feel like I definitely need to use them more. Before we move on to palettes, I do also just want to mention that I'm going to be removing this guy from my everyday makeup drawer. This is the Peak Espresso Natural Stain Brow Powder, and I really love this little guy, but it's getting kind of super old at this point. I talked about it also in my Project Pan video from 2018, and I know I probably should just declutter this because it's many years old at this point. And I don't know, I mean, I know it's a powder, and I think honestly powders do last quite a long time, but I do have other things in my collection that I'm not really using because I've been trying to use this up. So I think I'm going to try to be focusing more on my Tonya Crooks brow palette, using that. It's a little bit newer than this one is, and this guy will probably ultimately end up being decluttered. Now, I had picked out some palettes that I wanted to try to focus on in December. The first one was the Zoeva Cocoa Blend, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I did not reach for this once, which was not a really good sign. I've done my eyeshadow palette declutter video already. I filmed it. It's gonna go up next week, and I'll just give you guys a little spoiler, but I think I ultimately decided to declutter this palette because while I had wanted it for such a long time, I just don't find myself reaching for it enough. I mean, it's very nice and neutral. I think the quality of the shadows in here is very good, especially for the price point. Like, If you live in Europe and you buy this, it's a German brand, this palette retails for around like 22 euros, I think. So it's kind of like more of a Pixie level brand in Europe. It's just harder to get this here. It costs a lot to ship to the United States, so that kind of really bumps the price up. And I think compared to like my high-end palettes, this was fine, but nothing spectacular. So I just kind of feel like it's a little bit wasted in my collection, and there's probably somebody else that could use and love this because they are very neutral, wearable shades, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the formula. It's just not super inspiring to me, and the fact that after a whole month of trying to make myself use it, knowing that I really didn't reach for it, that should tell me all I need to know. I'm sure you guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about these palettes, but I had mentioned them in my last everyday makeup drawer video that I wanted to test and play with the new gazing palettes from the Beauty Crop, which I definitely did last month. I created looks with all 3 of these palettes. I did a full review over on my blog, which I will link for you guys in the description box if you want to see swatches and you want to read more about them. But I really love these palettes. I thought they were a lot of fun to play with. These are all very colorful, glittery. They're really cool palettes, and they only cost $24.50 a piece, which I think is very reasonable for a 12-pan eyeshadow palette. So these are obviously staying in my collection. They're gonna go back up on the shelf behind me with all my other eyeshadow palettes. I'm sure I will pick something else to focus on because these have been getting quite a bit of love in the last month, and I'm ready to kind of move on to something else. But I definitely would recommend these guys if you've been thinking about picking them up. And then finally, we have lip products. Now, I had given myself a lot of options to reach for in December, and quite a few of them got love and use, but then others I did not end up reaching for at all. And I'll give you guys a little declutter sneak peek because at the end of the month I kind of realized a few of these things I don't really need them in my collection. And when I sat down to film my lip declutter, which I filmed it last week and it's going up next week, I was just overwhelmed with how many lip products I had, and I realized that if I hadn't touched it and I hadn't used it yet, if it was something new and I could give away to someone else, I just needed to pass along because I need to do a much better job of utilizing the stash I have already. So like these 2 Pop liquid lipsticks I had put in my everyday makeup drawer because they were new and I had only swatched them. I haven't even worn them yet, and I just realized like I have 101 liquid lipsticks as it is, so these I'm gonna pass on to somebody else that can use them while they still have not been germified. And the same thing goes for this Revlon lipstick. This is brand new, never been swatched, never been used, and it's a really pretty color. I just have other things similar to this, and I don't think I really need to use this, so gonna give this to a friend. And then these MAC lipsticks I put in my everyday makeup drawer because I hadn't used them in months and months and months, and I wanted to see if I would reach for them, and honestly, I just never did, and I never really felt inspired to. I have this shade called Dare You, which funny enough, I actually got by accident. I had ordered some stuff from MAC, and this was in my box, and I wasn't supposed to receive it, so I got to keep it, and I used it at the time, but I really haven't worn it since last winter, and I don't love the formula of this. It's like a little bit slip slidey and creamy, so it tends to kind of get outside the lip line, and with it being such a dark shade, that's not the best. And then I have Ruby Woo, which is a very, very classic matte red shade from MAC, probably one of the most famous shades that they have. I just do not like the texture of this lipstick. It is like chalk, clay, bone dry. It tugs on the lips when you try to apply it. It's not very comfortable to wear. And yes, it's very matte and very, very long wearing because it's like dry as the Sahara. I don't find myself wanting to reach for it. I have other red lip products I prefer to use much more than this one, like the liquid lip from Persona and Holy Grail. That one's fantastic. So there's no point in me holding on to these. They're also kind of old, so they're just gonna go. A few other things that I am moving out of the rotation but not necessarily getting rid of are the melted matte liquid lips from Too Faced, the little holiday ones. These are great and I absolutely love them, and I was using them in December because they were a little bit more festive, but in January I kind of like to give these a break and use something else. Same thing with this Too Faced natural nude lipstick in Birthday Suit. I have some other nude lipsticks in the rotation right now, so I'm just gonna give this one a break, but I do really love this formula. It's very, very smooth, creamy, easy to apply, kind of has a nice satiny finish. So it's a great everyday easy nude lip to reach for. And then I had thrown this Jouer gloss into the rotation because I hadn't used it in a very, very long time. And I did enjoy it. It's a pretty, very light kind of pinky nude color. This is one of their high pigment glosses. Although, to be honest, it's not like fully opaque. It's got more color than like a sheer translucent gloss, but you definitely are going to see your either natural lip color through this, or if you're layering it on top of a lipstick, like you'll see the lipstick color underneath. That being said, I don't really like wearing this on the lips by itself without a lip liner or a lipstick, because I feel like this color over my natural lips looks kind of weird and patchy because my lips are a little bit more naturally pigmented. So I like layering this more over a like deeper nude lip liner or lipstick. Oh man, it smells really good. But it's a very creamy, kind of shiny, nice formula. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I pulled it out this month. So those are all of my December updates. Let's head over to my vanity so I can show you what's new for this month. Okay, so here we are at the makeup vanity. Let me give you guys a quicker look at some of the things I've added into the rotation this month. So as you can see, my foundation section here looks largely the same as last month. I've got my 2 shades of the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Foundation that I've been mixing together to get my perfect winter shade. Still have my Purely's BB cream hanging out back here. But this guy is new to me. This is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Foundation that I picked up because Jessica Braun was raving about it and I got kind of curious. Also, I had crazy coupons at CVS, so I got this and the concealer for less than $10. Couldn't resist. So this is something I'm going to be trying out this month. I actually am wearing it today, so if you were wondering what foundation I was wearing in the start of this video, it's this. Bare Minerals is the same, ColourPop is the same. I just moved my Wander Beauty concealer down here to make room for the Photo Ready concealer that I told you guys about. So I'll definitely be sure to update you guys on my thoughts on that as the month goes on. All of my concealers are also the same as December, so if you wanted to see or hear all about that, make sure you watch December's video. Lip product wise, I did keep a few things the same. These Pixie lipsticks, I think I reached for maybe one of them in December at least once, but I'd like to use them more in January. These are really pretty kind of rosy tones, and with everybody raving about this liquid lipstick formula, I kind of wanted to try it out more and develop my own thoughts. I have the Smashbox liquid lipstick in the shade Driver's Seat. I can't remember if I picked this out last month or if this was a new thing that I added in, but I'd like to use this more in January for sure. I think this guy may be new. This is the Lorac Alter Ego lipstick in the shade CEO, a little bit of a deeper berry toned, so I'd like to reach for this month. I still kept one of the Too Faced Natural Nudes lipsticks. This one is in Pout About It, as well as my Flower Beauty lipstick in the shade Spice Petal. This is a really gorgeous, like, everyday nude, so figure never a bad idea to have one of these on hand. I've still got my ColourPop Luxe lipstick in the shade Foolish here. I did use this at least once, but I feel like it's a really nice winter shade, so I like to reach for it more before the warmer weather gets here. As well as my new MAC Powder Kiss lipstick in the shade Devoted to Chili. I just tried this out on camera in my makeup playtime video that went live on January 1st. So if you haven't seen that, come on, will you focus? Maybe? There we go. Yeah, if you haven't seen that video, I will link it for you guys in the cards and in the description box. But I really love this color and I've worn this a few times. I'm enjoying the formula. I find it to be a little messy. It's a little slip-slidey because of the way the formula is, but it looks really soft and pretty on the lips, so definitely gonna continue to play around with this guy. Speaking of new, I also picked up these 2 lipsticks from Almay recently. They're their Lip Vibes lipsticks, so I wanted to give this new formula a whirl. The shades are basically the same color as this exterior packaging, so Smile is like an extremely hot orangey red, which is a, very me shade, and then Be Strong is more of a berry tone. This packaging is kind of a pain in the butt to open. That's the one downside I've noticed so far, but this looks like a very pretty everyday shade. Smile is probably something I'll wear more when I'm feeling in the mood to be a little bit sassy, but yeah, definitely want to try to give these guys a whirl this month. I kept this Dose of Colors lipstick in Hey Girl. I did use this month, and man, I really like this shade a lot, so I wanted to keep it as an option again this month. And then finally, this little baby lipstick from Marc Jacobs. This is in the shade Slow Burn. I haven't used this in a hot minute, so I figured I would need to put it in my everyday makeup drawer to give it another try. So many people talk about this formula and how amazing it is, so I wanted to refamiliarize myself with it. I'm not planning on making any changes to this drawer in January. Gonna keep continuing to use these same products. I really want to try to get more use out of these samples because I didn't reach for them all that much. Maybe the Tatcha Silk Canvas the most. Man, this primer is really, really nice. It's very, very smoothing on the skin, and it has some great skincare benefits to it. Stupidly expensive though, which is keeping me from buying the full size, but I kind of feel like it's not justified for me to do that until I can use this entire baby up anyway. So we'll see how long that takes me. This middle drawer though has some new faces to it. I am going to continue to work through my butter bronzer. I am determined to hit pan on this freaking thing if it's the last thing I do. So gonna try to give myself another month to work on that. But then everything else in here is new and fresh. I just picked up this Wet n Wild highlighting powder from CVS the other day. It's a new shade called Bloom Time. I'm actually wearing it today. I really enjoy Wet n Wild's highlighter formula, so wanted to give this guy a test. And then I've got my Jouer blush duo that I used in my recent makeup playtime video. This is in the shade Adore, and I do adore this. I've been using this pretty religiously since I filmed that video, and I absolutely love this blush duo. The color is just so flattering with basically any look that you can create because it's more neutral in tone. It's got a little bit of that pinky peach vibe, but it just makes your skin look so flushed and healthy and gorgeous, and it's very blendable and just really enjoying this. Definitely going to continue to love on it this month. I decided to bring back the Fenty Beauty Killawatt Freestyle highlighter. This is in the shade Hustla Baby, which is a really beautiful kind of pinky peachy gold shade, so hoping to get some use out of this, as well as my Physicians Formula Butter Highlight. It's been a hot minute since I used this, so I wanted to bring it back. This is the shade Champagne, and this is more of a cream, like a cream mousse textured highlight, and it's so beautiful. It just melts into the skin like butter, as the name would suggest. So happy to have this guy back in the rotation. I also recently picked up one of these Flower Beauty blush bombs. This is in the shade Cinnamon, and I've used it a couple of times so far. I've been enjoying it. Definitely better with creamier base products than matte ones. I feel like with the matte products it can go on a little bit patchy, but definitely looking forward to exploring this guy a little bit more. And then I have my Hoola Quickie Contour Stick, which is one of my favorite cream bronzers. And then the eye drawer here has seen some updates. I have added into this rotation a couple of Kaja products because these are things I picked up recently. I have their Brow Blowout Fiber Gel here, and then this little eye trio, which, oh man, I've been loving on this. If you haven't seen Makeup Playtime, I put this on my eyes, and it is just super, super fun and stunning. So gonna have that on hand to use this month. I'm also keeping this Warrior Glitter from Flower Beauty on hand because I didn't have a chance to reach for it in December, so I'd like to try to use this month, along with this NYX pigment here. I reached for it, I think maybe like once, but I'd like to use it again, and man, it's messy as heck because I took the stopper out, but it is so shiny and pretty. So kind of hoping to be inspired by this in January. I also kept this guy here. This is from Motives. It's like a loose glitter. It is actually super, super stunning. I used it maybe once, but I'd like to use it again, and I just realized as I opened that I legit got glitter all over everything. Awesome. Gonna have to clean that up in a minute. This is actually what I have on my eyes today. It's the Prismetal Chrome Eye Mousse in the shade Houdini, and I think it's stunning. It's something new that I picked up when I ordered some other JCap products, so this is going to be in the rotation as well. And then this is a little sneak peek of what is to come this weekend. I bought a bunch of these Vanity Goddess pigments from JCat, and they're super, super stunning. I put this one here in the makeup drawer. This shade is called Molten Magic, I believe, but I honestly really would like to reach for as many shades of these as I can in the month because I've got a whole bunch of them to play with. Now, I didn't show you guys these earlier, but these are the mascaras I currently have on hand, and I'm going to continue to be using them into January. I really like the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This is the first time I've used it in full size. I've always had minis in the past, but man, it does make your lashes look very dramatic and voluminous. The only bad thing I've noticed is that it gets very chunky, and a lot of product gets on the wand. I always have to kind of scrape off the excess, otherwise I get a lot of clumps in my lashes, so that kind of sucks, but otherwise, I mean, I do enjoy it. This guy I've only had a chance to use once, so I really have not been able to develop an opinion on it yet. It seems to be a more waterproof or like tubing formula, which is not usually my favorite. I found it a little bit difficult to build up on the lashes, so we'll have to see. I'm gonna need to try it out again. And then we have the little cup here that I keep full of miscellaneous like lip glosses and liners and whatnot. So I've got quite a few new things in here to play with. I just picked up a new Bite Beauty lip pencil. This is in the shade 020 because they were on sale for like less than $10. And it's a really gorgeous nude, so that's gonna be in the rotation, along with these two Maybelline lip liners. I took a red one just because I think I might try to wear red lips a little bit more this month. And then this really pretty nude shade. I haven't reached for these in such a long time, so I wanted to kind of give myself more of an impetus to do so. And the same thing kind of goes for my Nude Sticks pencils. I can't honestly remember the last time that I reached for these guys, and I really wish that I did more often because the formula is amazing. So I grabbed Royal, which is a very deep, nice red, and Burgundy. This is a magnetic matte lip color, so it's very, very long wearing, and this is one of the original intense matte lip and cheeks. So gonna use those. I grabbed this Wander Beauty Lip Setter Duo in the shade Bold in Beijing, which is a really pretty red. Again, I kind of feel like I haven't worn red lips a lot, so I'd like to kind of be into that more in January, see if I can make that happen. And then two other kind of crayon style products. This is the one I'm wearing today, actually. It's the Seraphine Botanicals Raisin and Cream Long Lasting Creamy Lip Stain. This is really beautiful, and I had not reached for this product in ages, so I wanted to bring it out into the rotation. And then this is a Bite Beauty lip pencil that I got from Sephora as like a birthday gift in 2018, and it's a really pretty nude shade. So every time I've used this, I've really, really liked it and thought it was really nice, so I'd like to continue to have it on hand in January. I've got one liquid lipstick. This is the Color Lit liquid lipstick in Stunner. I really, really enjoy this formula, and I haven't used it in a while, so I wanted to have it on hand again. I actually am doing a giveaway with Color Lit over on Instagram right now if you want to win all 4 of their shades of liquid lipstick, so I will link that info for you guys in the description box. And then I got a whole bunch of gloss options because you can never have too much gloss. I have not reached for this Urban Decay gloss since like September, so I really want to use it. It's in the shade Beso, which is a really pretty kind of berry tone, so this is going to be on hand, as well as my Gen Nude Patent Lip Lacquer from Bare Minerals in the shade Pout, which is, again, a really stunning kind of mauve berry tone. Excited about this. My Butter London Sheer Wisdom Lush Lip Oil in the shade Cinnamon Spice. This, again, is like the most beautiful kind of warm-toned nude. It's got pigmentation and it shows up on your lips, but it's still a little bit sheer. It's a great kind of like everyday thing you can just throw on in a pinch. Love this. And then finally, the Balm Plump Your Pucker Lip Gloss. This is in the shade, I have no idea what shade this is in. I cannot seem to find it anywhere, but it's a really pretty kind of pinky tone. This is brand new to me. I got it at Gen Beauty and I haven't really used it yet, so I wanted to give it a try. And then as far as eyeshadow palettes go, I'm sure I'll use more than this, but I've got a couple I'd like to focus on this month. First is the Balm Meat Matchmaker. This is, again, something relatively new to me, and I haven't had a chance to use it very much yet. It's got all these really cool little duos in it, so this is something I'd really like to give a try to, and I think it would be fun, especially paired with some of those singles that I have. I think I could come up with some really unique looks. I got this Pretty Vulgar Nightingale palette back in a boxy charm months and months ago, and I really haven't used it a whole lot. I'd like to do a review on this guy at some point, so this is something I need to play around with more and test out in the next month. And then finally, my Nabla Soul Blooming palette, which I absolutely am obsessed with. This is new to my collection, and I'm really not ready to put it away and put it out of the rotation. I also still am working on writing up my review of this palette, which I think will hopefully be going up this week, maybe. So I'm going to continue to see what kind of looks I can create with this guy and just continue to be inspired. So that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope it was fun to see what's going to be in my everyday makeup rotation for the month of January. Definitely let me know in the comments section what products are you guys going to be using this month. Is there anything you're really excited to be playing with or busting back out of your stash? Do you do the whole shop your stash thing? Definitely tell me all about it because I would love to hear. And of course, if you enjoy these kinds of series, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I always really appreciate your feedback. and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, especially if you want to see my declutter series that's going up next week. It's gonna be a lot. On that note, I'm gonna need to go clean up the glitter situation that I just created over in the other room, but I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.